While the wrestling world is talking about the women's match being the first main event in WrestleMania history, there's also discussion as to whether unifying the Raw and Smackdown Women's Championship is a good idea. Join us now as WrestleLamia looks at whether unifying the women's belt is a bad thing and why it could also be a good thing. Let's start off with the good. Number 1. The women's roster isn't as big as the men's. Let's face it, there wasn't much going on over at the Blue Brand's women's division. Granted, Smackdown had a fantastic women's champion in Asuka, but with Becky Lynch and Charlotte gunning for Ronda Rousey, the Empress of Tomorrow's list of challengers was thinning out. When Lana is one of the brand's would-be challengers, you have to question whether the WWE is better putting all the women under one umbrella. Unless the WWE brings in a large number of female wrestlers, unifying its current women's division is the logical choice for providing more viable competitors for its championship. While the WWE could abandon its traditional style of booking lower card through main event level players to one featuring anyone as a viable threat for the top belt, it doesn't appear to be heading in this direction and will need performers from different levels to play different roles. Number 2. It raises the stakes for WrestleMania 35. There's no question that putting the SmackDown Live Women's Championship up for grabs raises the stakes for the main event. The triple threat match between Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair is big enough to headline the show, but the WWE isn't pulling any punches as it gives the women their first go at a WrestleMania main event. This move isn't without its critics, as we'll discuss later, but it's easy to understand when you look at it as the WWE wanting to leave nothing to chance. A winner-takes-all match maximizes the main event's prestige, and the WWE is likely doing this to appeal to any mainstream media outlets that cover the match as the WWE's history-making event. Number 3. It makes the belt more prestigious. It's difficult to argue that having 2 world championships is more prestigious than one. While sports such as boxing have multiple world championships, that's usually a case of different promotions having individual titles, much as Impact and Ring of Honor have individual world titles since they are separate entities from the WWE. While SmackDown and Raw are supposedly 2 separate divisions, the WWE blurs the boundaries and the women's division is no different. Establishing one women's championship sends a strong message that there's no such dilution with its titles, and that the women's division may even be better than the men's division because of the distinction. Number 4. It's a sign that the WWE is gearing towards a women's program. One good thing that could come out from this unification is that it's a harbinger of a WWE program dedicated to its women's competitors. Fans have speculated that the women's division might be getting its own show ever since the WWE launched its all-women pay-per-view Evolution, and there's still rumours of such a show popping up. If the WWE does put its women's into a single roster, a unified championship would make perfect sense, just as the promotion has one women's tag team championship. In fact, some fans see the women's tag team championship as further proof that a unified women's roster is only a matter of time. We can't be certain, but it does give the WWE Universe food for thought that there will only be one singles championship and one tag team championship because there'll be a program featuring only women's wrestling. Whether or not this is a good move is uncertain at this point, but you can be sure it's been discussed up in Titan Tower as a way to capitalize on the women's revolution. And number 5. It opens the door for a secondary singles title. If the WWE is going to unify its women's division, it could benefit from the creation of a secondary title. After all, not everyone can compete for the World Championship every week, and not everyone is likely to be booked as a viable contender for the big belt. While the WWE has an awful history with its secondary titles such as the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship over the last 2 decades, the women's division needn't follow this route. NXT is doing a good job with its secondary title, and the women could follow suit, giving undercard performers the chance to go for the gold, creating more storylines focused on a championship chase. If the WWE plans on expanding its women's roster, a secondary title seems inevitable. But that was the good. What about the bad? Number 1. It's unlikely to last. Let's face it, how many times has the WWE unified its world singles titles only to split them up somewhere down the road? Recall the WWE's Unified Championship back in 2001 that split into the WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship in 2002, or the WWE World Heavyweight Championship that quickly became the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship. The Women's World Belt has been no different either, and history is likely to repeat itself here. As much as fans would like to forget the Divas title, the belt was unified with the WWE Women's Championship back in 2010, then thankfully rechristened the WWE Women's Championship in 2016 at WrestleMania 32. Fast forward a few months later and the WWE created a Women's Championship for Raw and one for Smackdown Live after the second brand split. While there are some excellent reasons for unifying the championship, the WWE has a big incentive for splitting the belts again. As many fans know, the WWE is moving Smackdown to Fox thanks to a lucrative contract it signed with the network. However, the big payout is contingent on the WWE sustaining a certain ratings level, and considering the WWE's overall ratings woes, it's a number you can bet that the WWE is anxious about. Furthermore, one of the most interesting stories is that Fox wants Smackdown to be a roster unto itself, as Raw airs on the rival USA network. Although the WWE has its separate brand rosters, fans know both brands cross over frequently and that they inevitably unify. Number 2. It cheapens the championship. SmackDown is often perceived as the WWE's proverbial red-headed stepchild, and treating its women's belt as a throwaway belt is another reason why. Think about how things have transpired over the last few months with SmackDown's Charlotte and Becky Lynch focusing all their attention on the Raw Women's Championship rather than the SmackDown belt. Up until Charlotte's recent SmackDown Women's Championship win, it's almost as if both she and Becky Lynch forgot the blue brand ever had a Women's Championship. The road to WrestleMania featured a myopic booking approach to the women's division, with everything being about the Raw Women's belt and no hints as to who Asuka would face. Turns out there was a reason why, but it was a weak one and it cheapened the belt and hurt the former champion, a situation we'll discuss next. The WWE may argue that one world championship is stronger than two, but as long as two are around, the promotion shouldn't treat one as inferior to the other. That's what's happened here, and it sends a message that it's certain to reoccur should the belt be split up again. Number 3. It was hotshot booking that ruined Asuka's reputation further. Fans of wrestling's Empress of Tomorrow took heart when Asuka won the SmackDown Women's Championship at the end of 2018 following a shaky run on the main roster. She has much to offer in the ring and is capable of putting on 5-star matches with any opponents, but her main roster career was marred by questionable storylines and inconsistent booking. Her championship reign was uneventful and became a non-issue when Charlotte defeated her with little fanfare, a classic example of hotshot booking to promote one event at the expense of both a wrestler and a championship. Asuka's WWE career is back in the gutter, and unless the WWE works hard to rebuild her character, the decision to hotshot the belt off her can be seen as the night her WWE career died. Number 4. It reduces opportunities for competitors. The WWE's women's division continues to expand, and adding a tag team title was a good idea for giving some of its competitors something to do. Nonetheless, the loss of a women's singles championship means a larger pool of superstars to compete for it. This might sound good on paper, but the WWE usually books one competitor in a program at a time, which means some of the WWE women will have little to do compared to if they had two singles belts. Good booking could avoid this problem, but this is the WWE we're talking about. Instead, a number of women will be working meaningless matches, doing nothing to get over, similar to many of the male superstars. While a secondary title might help offer the female superstars a chance in the spotlight, the WWE's shaky history with secondary titles has to be considered. And number 5, it's bad for house show business. While the WWE continues to bemoan its house show business, live events don't seem to be disappearing anytime soon. Whether it's domestic live events or shows outside the United States, the WWE runs Raw and SmackDown live events, and having world championships on both shows is a good way to entice fans to buy a ticket. Championships may rarely change hands at a live event, but fans still like the spectacle of seeing a world championship match, and only having one women's championship means less opportunities to showcase the belt at live events. With the women's division continuing to grow in popularity, The WWE is ignoring an opportunity to bring in more fans to house shows by offering women's championship bouts from the red and blue brands. Until the WWE drops its house show business, this is a concern it cannot ignore. But there you have it guys, the pros and cons to unifying the women's championship. What do you guys think of it? Let us know your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.